Hi everyone, it's Mark here. Today's video, we're gonna share with you how I went about putting a Minn Kota trolling motor on this Maritime Skiff. I wanted to share with you before I started anything or any of the companies or Minn Kota themselves. I have no affiliations with them. So anybody that I do mention, we're not tied in with them in any way. So I've been wanting to put a trolling motor on this boat for a couple years now. And there's basically three things that's probably held me back from doing that. Obviously there's the capital investment. I'm kind of old school. I believe in delayed gratification. So if we don't have the cash to buy it, I'm not buying it till I got it. So we had to budget that in to make that work. And secondly, the biggest thing for me is how do you put this trolling motor on a Maritime skiff? Maritime does not have a pointed front end or has a deck on the front where it's easy area for you to mount the trolling motor. So I had to come up with some kind of special fabrication to do so. And then the third thing is, again, a Maritime skiff doesn't have a lot of storage in the boat. So where was I gonna put the batteries? If I did use the front storage area, which it does have, was I gonna lose all the area that I needed for PDF, safety equipment, anchor, so on and so forth, drift sock, whatever it may be. So in the end, as you'll see, that worked out well. All right, to do the fabrication on the boat, I did a little research online to see if I could find other boats, other Maritimes that had trolling motors on them. So I found there was very little information. I did find one picture that showed how one person had mounted it. And I'll show you a picture here that shows how somebody else did a mount that I ran into on the Connecticut River. Him and I were coming in and I went up and talked to him. And he had this particular mount that I'm showing you for about 20 years on his boat. And that's what I was looking to do for the same thing for this boat, that type of setup. And I tried to go online, I tried to find some vendors that sold something that was similar, that was already pre-fabricated, but I struck out, couldn't find anybody to do it. So I went to a friend of mine. I went to my friend Anthony Sorrentino, and Anthony, I showed him what I was trying to do, gave him some ideas on what I thought was the right way to do it. And over about a month or so process, you could tell he wasn't really on board with me and how to do it. So finally, I kept saying to him, come on over, look at the boat. He came over, he looked at the boat, and Anthony looks at it, and he looks at what I'm trying to do with what I'm showing him, and you could tell he really didn't like what I was offering. And he says to me as he's at the house, he says he's looking at it, he says to me, he goes, "You're not going anywhere, right?" I said, "No." He said, so he lives in town. He runs over to his house, comes back 10 minutes later with a big old piece of cardboard. And he takes this big piece of cardboard and he puts it up on the boat. And let's go over and let's show what he came up with. He came up with this fabrication. And he put the cardboard on there, drew this out, and now we call it the smiley face. And I couldn't be any happier with it. I think it came out great. It was a great idea on Anthony's part, and a little better, I feel personally, it was a little better than the other thing. I was a little concerned that the other type of fabrication that I showed you in the picture earlier was not gonna work out, okay? So next part is, where do you put the batteries? As you can see, we were able to rig up the electric there. And by the way, I didn't do once Anthony came up with the fabrication, I did not do the installation on this boat. I did go to Paul Nelson over at East River Marine, and he put everything together, told him what I wanted to do. Again, showed him YouTube videos online through Minn Kota. And Minn Kota does, by the way, has some phenomenal videos on where you can get information to do this. And the other one that was a really good video that I ended up purchasing the unit for him was trollingmotors.net. Same thing, this guy's got all the information on the website. It's a great website, and recommend if you're gonna buy one, buy it through his site. He does a nice job with it. So after he installed it, what are we gonna do with the batteries? So let me take a look here, give you a quick little tour of the boat itself. I do have a front storage area, which we'll come back to and show you that's where we ended up putting the batteries. I couldn't put the batteries under here because this area is where the fuel tank for this boat is. It has a 17-gallon tank. And then the other part of the boat where it has some storage is underneath the center console. But as you can see here, this is the battery for the engine itself, for starting it. And it only has this small area here, and I was concerned that you need 2 batteries for that Altera unit for this size boat, and that they would not fit or is going to take my area. I kind of use that storage area again for other safety equipment. I have a tub and I put everything in that, and that's how I kind of store everything, jackets, whatever it may be. Okay, got a little bit of storage under here, but that's where we put our tackle box, fly boxes, whatever it may be. So that wasn't going to work. And the other thing is this area is wet. If you know anything about a maritime boat, is that it's a self-bailing boat. So it takes on water, releases water. It doesn't have a bellows pump. It just flows out. So this area can be wet majority of the time, especially when there's a couple people back here. It could be pretty wet. Okay, so that's that. So where do we put the batteries? So we ended up putting the batteries in the front storage area. And if you can see here, we've got each one of the batteries here, the other battery here, and then I was even able to put a charging unit, self-start charging unit in it. So the plug over there that's over there is when we come back from fishing, we could just plug in to our to our electrical outlet, and it has an onboard charger, so it'll charge itself. We have our circuit breaker in there, so it's okay. And I was still able, I couldn't believe it, when I reorganized this whole box, I was still able to get my throw, all my general safety stuff, my throw, bumpers, our 3 PDFs, anchor, rope, extra rope. I still have the drift sock in there. So it all fit. I didn't think it was gonna fit. So I'm very pleased with that. That worked out well, and that's how it came out. So again, I hope this helps somebody else that's looking to maybe put it on a maritime skiff, or maybe has a boat that doesn't have the front end. It's pretty rare. This will maybe give you some ideas on how to go about it. Also, as far as how this trolling motor works, I'm not gonna get into that again, like I said earlier. This boat, Minn Kota, has a great website to show you all the bells and whistles, and we'll show you more of how we're going to apply those applications. You've probably seen them in maybe a couple of our videos already, or that will be coming out. You're going to see how we've used it to improve our fishing, and already after whatever we've been using it the last month, I've already seen an improvement where we've definitely caught more fish because I was able to sit on the fish or control the boat in a better manner. To be able to catch fish. So hope you liked the video. As always, please help us out, like or subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.